In my Bible study, the Lord brought to me something that truly made me pause. I was chewing on that thing for several hours after it came to my attention. He brought it to my understanding that the only people he has ever judged, and they survived, is Israel. The biblical descendants with whom, the biblical people and their descendants with whom he has an everlasting covenant. No other nation, tribe, or tongue that received a final judgment has ever survived that judgment. When Prophet Daniel was having dreams about the fall of the Romans and the fall of the Greeks, and he was calling it the king of the north and the king of the south, we now understand who he was talking about, especially when he was talking about the kingdom being divided into four. That is exactly how Rome died. Rome died because she was divided, a cohesive, powerful unit that even showed her cohesiveness in how she fought, how the legions would all come together and raise their shields and form a tortoise and then walk. You could not shoot that thing. You could not batter that thing. Once they locked into the Roman tortoise shells and began to move forward, they were deadly. Rome died when she was divided into the hands of four generals because they could not find a fitting leader to continue the power. And the Greeks died because Rome came and overpowered them. Every single one of those kingdoms fell because they had a use for everything. They had a use for sexual immorality. They had a use for perversion. They had a use for wine. They had a use for pride. They had a use for worshiping logic, poetry, gifts, but no use for God. And any kingdom that has no use for God will always come to its demise. The Lord brought it to my understanding. He said, go all the way back to the beginning and look at every civilization that came under a judgment curse, such as the Amalekites, such as the Canaanites, the Girgashites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, all of them. They're gone from the earth. Many kingdoms from the Bible have come through. Cush, Egypt, those people are still around. The Babylonians, Iraqis, Iranians, that basin, they're still around. But they never came under final destructive curses. America is under that. Her final destructive curse is there for any American who is able to read English to go and read it in Revelation 18. You can read it and you can understand that there's going to be a separation point where God is going to call out to the melting pot. And I said that the melting pot will unmelt. Every person of a foreign origin born here is going to flee here. I described it in the vision that God showed me as the country suddenly having these massive red arrows like palm trees as people will go back to their points of origin. And he said that people will go back to their points of origin at first in an orderly fashion. Their heart just doesn't want to live here anymore. They're not interested. They get better job opportunities. They're tired of being taxed out of their nostrils. Different reasons. They'll feel a pull to go back to their ancestral land and they will go. Those are the people who will move easily. They will move in an orderly fashion, is what God said. And then there's just going to be fleeing. You're basically going to be running with Crocs on your feet. He said to wherever's closest, to whatever exit points that you can find. And people will simply flee. The prophecy for that is called Diaspora, where I said that I saw Americans living in every conceivable land under the sun. And those who had money and those who had planned, they ended up in countries that were very similar to America. If you move from here to Portugal, you move from here to the UK, you move from here to somewhere that's European in descent, that means that you're going to be sitting with people who look like you and you're going to feel more comfortable. But when you run from here to Antigua or you run from here to, I don't know, Guam, you run from here to Fiji, it's not going to go like that. I saw Americans struggling to assimilate into different societies, struggling to obey the laws of other countries. And that's because usually Americans just go, I'm an American. And if they break the laws of another country, it's not their business because why do you have that law? Did you not know that I was coming? That's the general approach that we're known for in this nation. I saw people so humble. I saw people so depressed because to come out of here, it's a never coming back. There will be nothing to come back to. And so once Revelation 18 is in the Bible, it doesn't really matter what the discussion is now because no one can remove Revelation 18 from the Bible. And in the same way, nobody can remove the judgment that is upon the head of the United States.